Welcome to this video where I'm going to share with you why we binge eat more in the wintertime, how this type of binge eating is typically handled, the main reasons binge eating recovery is nearly impossible doing it this way, and some solutions for success. I'm Amy, founder of the Binge Eating Recovery Coach, and let's get started. So, wintertime. It's December here in British Columbia, Canada, and like so many people living in the Northern Hemisphere, cravings, binging, and moods are at an all-time high. The reason for this is due to the lack of serotonin in our bodies, especially during this time of year. You see, serotonin is a neurotransmitter in our body that's manufactured in the brain, but over 95% of it is produced in our gut. It is stimulated by sunlight and also created from consuming protein. Meat protein has the densest amount per serving. The tryptophan in meat converts into 5-HTP, into serotonin, and then finally into melatonin. So in the wintertime, when sunlight is at its absolute lowest, our brains aren't getting enough serotonin to keep us from binging past sunset, which for me is around 3:30 p.m. From a medical perspective, people who suffer from low serotonin in the wintertime are classified as someone with seasonal affective disorder, or SAD, which explains why our cravings and binging are completely out of control in the afternoon and evenings when the sun is hardly out. Some other classic low serotonin symptoms are negativity, depression, worry, anxiety, low self-esteem, guilt, shame, obsessive thoughts, irritability, hyperactivity, rage, phobias, migraines, and even insomnia. However, when our serotonin neurotransmitter is balanced, we easily feel positive and optimistic, easygoing and flexible, and self-confident with a sense of humor. Basically, low serotonin people experience a lot of anxiety and depression, and high serotonin people experience a lot of ease and happiness. Being happy is more than just training your mind to behave a certain way. A lot of it actually has to do with our biochemistry. So how this is handled in the conventional healthcare approach is that doctors will give an antidepressant. There are a few different types, but let's just say they gave you an SSRI, which stands for Selective Serotonin Reuptake Inhibitor. These synthetic medications treat the serotonin neurotransmitter by trapping the serotonin in place and holding it in there so that we can feel the serotonin's pleasurable effects for longer. But what we don't know is that by doing so, serotonin diminishes over time, which explains why doctors consistently need to put you on a second antidepressant to counteract the diminishing amount of serotonin happening with the first antidepressant. For some, taking these medications do a beautiful job at alleviating the symptoms for a short period of time. Long-term use, on the other hand, not so much. In addition to that, all of these medications all have harmful side effects, which need their own set of medications to treat those side effects. Another important thing to note is that serotonin is actually on a seesaw with a few other neurotransmitters, one of them being the catecholamines. So low catecholamine people find it hard to muster up any sort of energy, drive, focus, motivation, and concentration. These people reach for foods and substances for energy or stimulation and is the main neurotransmitter responsible for ADD, attention deficit disorder. So if you think of Winnie the Pooh character Eeyore, you can kind of get an idea of what I'm talking about here. Eeyore is a mix of low serotonin and low catecholamines. Slow, tired, unmotivated, pessimistic, doesn't seem to care about anything. On the other hand, when balanced, the catecholamine person will be motivated, energized, focused, outgoing, and enthusiastic. It is common for people to experience both low serotonin and low catecholamines at the same time. And the more outgoing you are, the more catecholamines you actually have available. The more introverted you are, the less catecholamines you have available. Examples of medications that are used within the mainstream healthcare system for these types of neurotransmitter imbalances for binge eating include Vyvanse, naltrexone, sertraline, Wellbutrin, topiramate, among many others. And the majority of clients report that taking these synthetic medications either exacerbate their binge eating, do nothing, or they can't deal with the side effects associated, so they eagerly stop taking them altogether. So what we don't know is that there are actually natural ways of treating these low neurotransmitter problems that don't cause unnecessary harmful side effects, and instead treat the problem at its root cause so that we don't have to live with the symptoms. Each neurotransmitter is actually connected to and responsible for each of the 5 types of binge eaters out there, and that weight, moods, cravings, and binging are actually all connected to these neurotransmitters. The good news is that within my 3-month binge eating recovery program, each one of these 5 types of binge eaters are treated holistically and at its very root cause. What's missing in real long-term binge eating recovery is feeding the neurotransmitters their exact fuel required for restoration, instead of doing the runaround, giving synthetic chemicals that treat the symptoms only, leaving the initial problem untouched. When symptoms are treated at their root cause, clients' previous complaints of low moods, cravings, binges, and even excess weight start to disappear entirely at a faster pace without the need for unnecessary synthetic chemicals, mindfulness, journaling, therapy, dieting, restricting, exercising, or distracting. The real power is when we heal from the inside out. The beauty of it is it takes little to no conscious mental power to make this change. This is the reason you'll see all over my page of client reviews of their binge eating stopping within 1 week, because finally they're using a system that is addressing the root cause instead of putting a band-aid over the symptoms. So now you know why we binge eat more often in the winter months, and why, by using our current systems, binge eating recovery isn't that common and actually pretty near impossible for most people. Okay, let me know what you think in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe so other people struggling can get some insight on this topic too. Or head on over to the bingeeatingrecoverycoach.com to see if you qualify for the 90-day one-to-one binge eating recovery program, where binge eating recovery is possible in as little as 1 day.